everybody to please listen attentively, because the purpose of which is for you to collaborate and interact with the other. For our speakers to collaborate and interact with each other. So, again, I am asking everyone to please pay attention. So this time, I am giving the floor to our moderator.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the annual debate of Grade 8 Diamond 2016. Let's start with the topic of resolve that cultural diversity contributes to unity. I am Bea D. Pomoseno, and I am Cheryl E. Tagakay, your moderator. At this point of time, let us divide the house between two teams, the affirmative side and the negative side. In the affirmative side, to be led by their Prime Minister, John Lloyd Jordan Sumilo, with his deputy ministers, Lance Lubaton Bachansila and Joel Montoya. And from the negative side, to be led by their Prime Minister, Elrich Vince Villanueva Capuno, together with his deputy ministers, Maureen Laika Coras Balucho and Ed Santos Salas. I will now introduce our judge. We have Mrs. Rosaline Evangelista Montes, the head teacher of the I'll read to you the criteria for this debate. We have organization and clarity, 20%. It includes the viewpoints and responses are outlined both clearly and orderly. We have also use of arguments, 20%. It includes reasons are given to support viewpoints. We have also use of examples and facts, 20%. It includes examples and facts are given to support reasons with references. We have also use of rebuttal, 20%. It includes arguments made by the other teams are responded to and dealt with effectively. And the last but not the least is the presentation style of 20%. It includes tone of voice, use of gestures, and levels of enthusiasm are convincing to audience with a total of 100%. At this juncture, let's call on now the first speaker in the affirmative side, the Prime Minister, John Lloyd Jordan Sumilo.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to our Board of Judges, Ma'am Rosaline Montes, to my advisor, Ma'am Ruby Andres, and to my classmates. Pleasant afternoon to all of you. This House firmly believes that cultural diversity can contribute unity to our country. First, let us define cultural diversity. Cultural diversity is the existence of variety of cultural and ethnic groups within a society. Cultural diversity is also about acknowledging, understanding, supporting, accepting, and the most special thing is respecting. Among people with respect to class, ethnicity, gender, race, and beliefs. A culture of global citizenship is a vital aspect of developing a peaceful and a prosperous human civilization. A culture is the one thing that we can learn in a day or a month. We learn the basic principles of culture and traditions from elders so that we can polish it when we grow. And so all of that is about learning from others who are not the same, about dignity and respect for all, and about creating environments that encourage learning from others. We live in a country with rich and cultural heritage. Valuing our diverse is all about understanding and respecting in their way of life, their belief, as we would expect someone to respect our own. It's all about supporting individuals in keeping their culture and traditions alive and appreciating the fact that all of these different traditions will enrich our life both today and for the future. cultural diversity is also about differences between people or human just like us. Cultural diversity is also about the culture of human that is differences, just like Tibolis, Ilonggos, Tibolis, Balaans, and so forth. So, cultural diversity supports the idea that every person can make a unique and a positive contributions from a larger society because of rather than in spite of our differences. Imagine a place where cultural diversity is recognized and respected. Various cultural diversity are acknowledged and valued. Contributions from all groups are encouraged. People are empowered to fulfill, fulfill their full potential and contribute the peace to our country. Can I ask everyone, is cultural diversity important?
Yes!
Ladies and gentlemen, people of the world, cultural diversity is very important thing as it is part of our life. Cultural diversity is important because in our country, workplaces, schools consist of various cultural, racial, and ethnic groups. We learn from one another, but first, we must have a level of understanding in order to facilitate collaboration and cooperation. It is the one that supports the individuals or differences between people. It is the one that recognizes with different people. It recognizes people with different backgrounds, skills, attitudes, and experiences bring fresh ideas and perceptions. It encourages and harnesses these differences to achieve the peace in our country. Cultural diversity draw upon the widest possible range of its users. The encouragement of cultural diversity benefits society. Just like in society today, most people view that cultural diversity is a good thing because with this, we can learn from one another, and with that, we can understand or they can understand what is the meaning of that thing that we are acting. So with that, I really do believe that cultural diversity is our key to unity. That's all.
And to the better side, let us give the floor to the Prime Minister of the negative side, Elrich Beats Villanueva Capullo.
A pleasant good afternoon to everyone. Resolve that cultural diversity contribute to unity. Philippines is a combined society, both singular and plural in form. Singular as one nation, but it is plural or that is fragmented geographically and culturally. The nation is divided between Christians, Muslims, and the ethno-linguistic groups, between the upland and lowland people, and between the rich and the poor. So, let me define cultural diversity. Cultural diversity means a range of different societies or people of different religions, and traditions are living and interacting together. So, we do not blame ourselves that having cultural diversity would bring us to unity. It's because having lots of differences would be so hard to us to communicate with one another. In Muslim tribe, they have their cultural practices called, if I do not wrong, it's called polygamy. It is mean that a man could marry 2 or more wives. But in our Christian belief, a wedding is a sacred, and based on 1 Corinthians 7 verse 3, the husband should fulfill his marital duty to his wife, and likewise the wife to her husband. It is mean that each one of them must love one another and should give peace to one another and should live eternally. So if one of them should marry another, so the outlook of the people to the community would be negative, and that is the beginning of having conflicts. Here, somewhere here in Mindanao, somewhere in the northern part, there are war between Christian and Muslim because they're fighting for their rights and their dignity. And that is what we call the cultural diversity. The family code of the Philippines sets 18 to 21 at the age of majority of the Filipinos to get married. But some, even though they're not at the age of 18 to 21, they get married. So people would the image of them to the society would be negative. And that is the cause of having arguments. Do you think that there would be a productive country if we have this cultural diversity? No, still could not. Because having lots of differences would be so hard to us as people to communicate with one another, because we have different language, we have different beliefs, we have different traditions, values, and that's why we do not agree that cultural diversity brings unity. That's all.
Let's call on the second speaker of the affirmative side, Lance Lobaton Bachancillo.
A pleasant day, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, when we say cultural diversity, it is a development that nurtures skills and knowledge about culture, traditions, beliefs, and etc. with the help of diversity. Nowadays, organization employs workers from a wide background, including ethnicity, race, gender, and religion. However, a number of other less common and more minor distinguishing traits contribute to a culture in which an employee's work, with others who aren't their mirror images. Diversity also allows richness and variety, boosting innovation which leads to economic growth, improving access to jobs, producing culturally vibrant and varied communities. Early exposure to ethnic and economic diversity prepares children and students like us for a multicultural world, with studies demonstrating that this is a type of socializing contributes significantly to academic development and level of cultural awareness. Here are some benefits of cultural diversity. The concept of cultural diversity has a very wide scope. It is being practiced by people and organizations all over the world. Frankly speaking, this idea includes hiring people of diverse races, different religions, and promoting the entry of staff from different countries. Although the practice of this concept has gained momentum in the past few years, but its existence is quite old, and cultural diversity continues to live all around us. It exists in different communities and households, from small towns to the biggest cities throughout the world. Diversity is an element of society and now has become an important part of businesses as well. Here are some benefits of cultural diversity. Includes promotes humanistic values. It makes people of organization think that their value and contribution are being realized by the organization and management. Number 2, improves productivity and profitability. Active persuasion of diversity in the workplace directly impacts productivity and profitability of the organization as well as the employees. There is an enhancement of productivity in the workers while profitability in the organization. 3, helps to create a pool of talent. When any organization invests in diversity, it results as a creation of bigger pool of talent. This is a win-win situation for both employees and organizations. 4. Exchange of innovative ideas. When an organization comprises of people with diverse backgrounds, cultures, and experiences, new and creative, innovative ideas pop up the minds of different people. It is natural that people with varying experiences and perspectives in life would be able to generate unique ideas and solutions to problems. This is immense value for both organization and employees. Such dynamic changes that take place between people having different perceptions yield creative results. Such a situation is never created in groups of people who think similarly and belong to the similar cultures. Last but not the least is other benefits of diversity. Many studies related that organization behavior that promoting cultural diversity results absenteeism rates, lower employee turnover, reduce the cost of associated while hiring new employees, and reduce legal responsibility discrimination lawsuits. In this world of competition, where cultural diversity has so many benefits, it deserves a place in all organizations. This will not only bring profits for organizations, but will lead to development competencies among all employees. With this, I really do believe that cultural diversity is behind peace, that's all.
And now let us listen to the second speaker of the negative side, Norin Laika Porras Banti.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Culture is indeed everywhere. It forms our belief systems, frames perceptions, formulates understandings, and guides behavior. It is not merely a tool for development, nor a means to an end, but a virtue that is learned, adopted, and constantly evolving. Diversity provides labor resources. However, this does not mean that diversity comes without difficulties. Social exclusion can sometimes occur as an unintended consequence of cultural diversity. Among the most noticeable disadvantages of cultural diversity include language barriers, social tension or conflict, and civic disengagement. One of the main disadvantages of cultural diversity is its tendency to create language barriers. Social segregation often occurs when speakers of two mutually unintelligible languages live side by side. Language barriers are generally temporary in nature. Most immigrants eventually learn the language of the country they move to. But the resultant segregation can endure as exemplified in segregated neighborhoods. Moreover, a workforce that has significant differences in ethnicity, race, religion, gender, and other individual traits can produce negative effects, especially if not well managed. And unity cannot be attained if these negative effects of diversity are understandable, if the culture does not support tolerance and acceptance of differences. Challenges of diversity includes communication problems, resistance to change, and differences of opinions. This consequence can happen, and cultural diversity can be an unfavorable rocky road, usually from language barriers that results to misunderstandings and social unacceptance of people from different cultures. While language barriers are easier to amend, but social acceptance takes time or no time at all of barriers and concrete, since complicity, conflict, confusion, and ambiguity of communication, it sets higher challenges for others to communicate. Difference in verbal and non-verbal style, like body language, create miscommunication. Moreover, in school, To be able to get on well to other culture, we need to understand and respond to different expectations. It can be complex and respond to different expectations. Sometimes confusing for us to fit within cultures because in some cases we experience cultural conflict. Individuals are largely prisoners of the culture they inherit, but the decision they make based on the information and knowledge they have or acquire to reinforce or reject or choose to ignore at the outset, and the outcomes of those decisions are what drive cultural revolution. And if those disadvantages will continue to exist, it is impossible for us to attain unity in our country. Diversity can also have contradicting disadvantage, whereby conflicts arise due to different perspectives. Disadvantage in a diverse society are inevitable and is almost impossible to be eradicated. That's all.
Now, let us call on the third speaker of the affirmative side, Joel Hanika, to pass our second.
First of all, I'm gonna ask each and every one of you, do you agree that cultural diversity contributes to unity? Yes. Yes, because we all know that Philippines is rich when it comes to culture, tradition, and religion, thus with different languages. But it is not that difficult for us to understand. You'll just learn how to fit in. Learning can't kill you, right? Am I right? I am right. Yes, I am right. You'll just learn. Try, and learn and learn. And with the help of others, you can do it. Because that is what we call teamwork, and that is unity. The fact is, we're all different, which is great. Because we are all unique. Without diversity, life would be very, very boring. God made us with different potential. That is why we are special. Because He made us special. Even though we don't know each other, we may not understand each other, but we act and live as one. Like the saying, different roads sometimes lead to the same castle. God knows that our ability to reach unity in diversity will be the beauty of culture and the test of our civilization. Unity is not only about teamwork. It is also about being a part of something beautiful. And guys, according to my calculations, 97% of this room agrees that cultural diversity brings unity in the country. But what about the 3%? What about the 3%? Who doesn't agree? My gosh, I don't know. Well, maybe I just say good luck. And according to Kofi Annan, we may have different religions, different languages, and different colored skin. But we all belong to one human race. For example, look at us. In this room, there are so many different religions. Ilonggo, Muslims, Tiboli, and also Iglesia ni Cristo, Catholics, and Christians. But look at us. We are all getting to know each other. We don't have any problem. And also, but we belong to one human race. So for example, if you are a blind man, you are still a human, right? Yeah. Even if you are a little bit, like that. you are still a human. And if you are dark, if you are dark brown, I mean, you are still a human. And that is beautiful enough. Now I know, if we can just work together as one, we can maintain peace in our country and we can make it a better place. And maybe not just our country. We can make the world a better place. So, let's back to the topic. If you are an Ilonggo and you want to make friends with a Tiboli, or if you are a Tiboli and you want to make friends with an Ilonggo, how hard can it be? You just have to learn their languages. If, like, when you say, what is that? And in Tiboli, you say, Maandu. Like that. It's so easy, but not that easy that you can learn it one day. So for me, cultural diversity does bring unity in the country. Thank you.
And now let us listen to the last but not the least speaker of the negative side, Kevin Sam Postanes Sr.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Resolve cultural diversity contribute to unity, but do you know the meaning of cultural diversity? Cultural diversity means culture, any variety or variety. In other words, different culture. Cultural diversity cannot contribute to unity because other culture cannot give a ball to other culture, so it cannot give unity to everyone. Unity means to be one or singleness, so cultural diversity cannot be as one. I have a question. Would it be easy for you to learn from other culture when you enhance yourself in your own culture? No. It's not easy to learn from other culture because learning in other culture is difficult, because when you enhance yourself in your own culture, it is hard to learn new things about other culture, because when you cannot communicate well, because in every culture they have their own language, values, tradition, and they have differences in other culture. So it would be not easy to learn from other culture. Culture is a group which shapes a person's identity and value. One of the cultural identities can stem from the following differences: race, ethnicity, gender, class, religion, country of origin, and geographic region. And other culture imposing values on others that may conflict or be inconsistent with culture of your own. War can also be a result of a cultural conflict. Based on Jonathan H. Turner, he defined it as a conflict caused by differences in cultural values and beliefs. Because when you have different cultural values and beliefs, it is hard to communicate from others. Cross-cultural misunderstanding or conflict may arise whenever there are cultural differences. The following are some potential causes or situations in which conflict or misunderstanding can happen. Number 1. Misunderstanding or conflict between different nationalities, religious or ethnic groups. Cultural ignorance and insensitivity. Number 3. Lack of awareness and different societal lifestyle practices. Number 4. Different in cultural practices. Number 5. Different in perception of illness and treatment. Or miscommunication and misinterpretation. In many ways, diversity is a major advantage to an industrialized society. However, this does not mean that diversity comes without difficulties. Among the most noticeable disadvantages of cultural diversity include language barriers, social tensions, and civic disengagement. First, language barriers. Used primarily to indicate the difficulties faced when people who have no language in common to attempt for communication with each other. Social tension or movements, or social in individual, in other words, individual and movements. Third, civic disengagement. Collective actions designed to identify the issues of the public concerns. That's all.
Let's call on again the Prime Minister of Affirmative Group, Donald Jorgensen, for this summary.
Once again, a pleasant afternoon to all of you. As I summarize our words that we say. So for me, if we do things that is right, and if you respect, not only respect but you do the good things, that what you are doing to the or what you are making to the people, so that it can be back or it can be replaced to ours. So with this, we will be achieving not only in the world peace but also in our heart. And for Bianca, and for the lands, nowadays students and employers, workers, comes from diverse races, different religion, languages. Both with the help of understanding, we can find a world a better place, and also for the multicultural world. And for the Bianca, we may have different languages, different religions, and different color skin, but we all belong to one human race. Just like a snake, they may have different species, but they are all snakes. What do you expect? Caterpillar? Once a snake, always be a snake. That's all.
Let us call again the Prime Minister of the negative side, Elder Fitz Villanueva Capuno, for his summary.
Once again, good afternoon, everyone. Cultural diversity is an epistemological object. Culture as an object of empirical knowledge, whereas cultural differences is the process of enunciation of culture as knowledgeable, authoritative, adequate to the construction of system of cultural identification. So, yes, cultural diversity is important, but could not bring unity to the country. It's because having many differences, yes, having many differences is so hard. And we must be aware of what is happening in our society. We must be mentally awake, physically strong, and morally healthy, so that we could not just keep on silence about the conflicts and arguments of our society, especially about our culture. Here in Lake Cebu, we have our IPs, our Muslims, our Christians. But do you think that they are really united? No, they are not really united, because there is still war, conflicts, struggles, and arguments between them. So, as a peace lover, we want peace. All of us really want peace. But as a peace lover, we do not agree, and we must have to be awake of what is happening. We do not agree that the diversity in culture bring unity to the country, and the end of culture is a right living. That's all.
Does anyone want to ask a question from the affirmative side? cultural diversity? How can we promote cultural diversity?
We can promote cultural diversity by, like what I said here, we can build a community with persons and with cultures like the House of Langu Life, right? So, with the help of that, we can preserve our cultural diversity.
Another? Anyone, please? Why cultural diversity is important?
First of all, again and again, a pleasant afternoon to all of you. Cultural diversity is very, very important because in our country, workplaces and schools, most people here have so many differences. Just like Ilonggo, Tiboli, and etc. So with this, as we all know that here in Lake Cebu has so many racial, ethnic groups. So, but first we have a level of understanding in order to facilitate collaboration and cooperation. So with this, I really do believe that it is so very, very important to to understand each other. So with this, I really do believe that cultural diversity is very, very important. Thank you.
Does anyone have a question to the affirmative side? Or the negative side, rather? Anyone? Yes, Mr. Giltura?
How cultural diversity can affect a war or a conflict in different religious people.
Thank you. It can affect our culture, traditions, and beliefs. It's because of our differences. That's why there is war. There is some conflicts. It's because of our differences. And that is the beginning of war. That's all.
You have another question? Yes, Ms. Carol. Why do you not agree that cultural diversity not bring to unity?
Do not.
Why do you not agree that cultural diversity not bring to unity?
Actually, cultural diversity is important. But for us, cultural diversity did not bring unity here in our country because of our differences in culture, tradition, beliefs, and values. That's all.
Anyone want to ask a question?
One question.
Yes, please. Or second.
I have a question to the negative side. According to Sam, in your opinion before, that it is not that easy to learn different kinds of languages, am I right?
Yes.
So, what about our brother Filipinos in other countries? Their course is a language tutor. They teach different kinds of languages. So now they are successful. So I ask you, if others can do it, why can't you? Any of you.
Learning in other culture is difficult because when you enhance yourself in your own culture, it is hard to learn new things about other culture. That's all.
You want to ask a question to the affirmative?
Like Lance said before, in organization, in sharing various ideas or thoughts with language or with different language, with the word of various or differences of everyone, it could bring conflict. So, first, how can you prove that sharing of ideas or thoughts can bring unity?
All I can say is that two thoughts are better than one. That is all.
And now it is time to declare the winner.
Before the judge of the Supreme Court will give the decision, my pleasant greetings to the grade 8 Diamond, particularly to your English teacher, Mrs. Ruby Andres, for facilitating this debate, wherein you are being given the chance, the opportunity to express your ideas, to organize, and to train yourselves to join this what we call arguments by citing examples and given in rebuttal and present in your manner of presentation. Well, for the affirmative side and the negative side, my congratulations also for utilizing so much effort and time, knowledge, in order that you will succeed in this debate. So, for the audience, congratulations also for being attentive and participative. Now, the affirmative give their ideas, the negative give also their ideas. And we cannot deny there is always a winner. And who is the winner? Of course, the judge. No. The winner is none other than... Sino kaya?
Affirmative!
So the audience is right. The affirmative side is the winner. Nevertheless, everybody is the winner. Congratulations.
Ay.